All right, so again, welcome everybody to our instructor gathering. Thank you so much for joining today. As always, of course, we have a lot to go over, but excited to have everybody here, and we have a lot of really great announcements to share with everybody today. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. With that, if my computer, if everything will cooperate. Let's see here. You know, I'm new to this. No. Yeah, I'm not sure why all of a sudden now this isn't working. Sorry. Let's try this.
That's always the way.
Oh my gosh. Come on now. All right. All right. From current slide. There we go. All right. So here is all of the information that we have to go over today. So as you can see, we've got a few things. We're going to hit on project updates, important dates coming up. We're going to touch on, Keith's going to give us the highlight reel of the team program and how that's going. Quickly, we'll go over our summit that we had in Columbus, kind of hit on some tips that we've learned since the Youth 2.1 has come out, and just some different helpful tips that have come at, that we've used, those folks who've used it, and we're going to ask you guys who've used it also, what's worked. Kind of give some suggestions and some ideas on how we can deliver these community-specific curriculums in a blended setting, because of course those don't exist. So we're going to kind of talk through that together. We're going to unveil our new resource pages, which are very exciting, as well as our mini PPGs, kind of abbreviated versions, and then a whole assortment of miscellaneous updates. And then our Bravo spin the wheel, and then leave some time for question and answer. So lots to go over. So without further ado, Lucas, you want to hit on, kind of go over some of these project updates for us?
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. My name is Lucas Velasco. I'm the administrative coordinator, and I do kind of the finance and the data for the Mental Health First Aid Collaborative. And what you're looking on our screen is the OHMHAS project and the SAMHSA project updates. So in the OHMHAS project, we're just into the beginning of our 2-year project. And in October, we had one of our biggest months so far to start off the project. So we trained a total of 737 people. And I want you to look at just a little bit down on that list, and all the funding that we've gotten from OHMHAS, we've trained over 17,000 people from the OHMHAS funding, which is awesome. And we also have just across the board in the month of October, it was really good. So we had one of our highest average class sizes, and our attendance rate was just, well, normally all the months we see a 75% attendance rate. So in SAMHSA, we actually had our first month. I know the information's not there, but we had our first month of trainings for our new project, and that rolls around every year. So in that month, we trained 52 people. So we just off the ground getting that running, and that goes from October to September of next year. So yeah.
Wonderful. All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Lucas. And thank you again to all of you instructors for those incredible numbers. I mean, 737 is amazing. Keith, were you going to add something?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I think as we look back, our initial goal when we started in 2020 was to train 4,000 Ohioans over that, what was it, year and a half. Really, we ended up with about a year and a half time. We trained 737 people in 1 month, just to put it in perspective. I think that's incredible, and certainly worthy of some applause for that. So that's incredible. Woohoo! All right. So some important upcoming dates. It's actually not too late to still nominate an instructor or a coordinator for the National Summit that's going to be held in St. Louis, Missouri, April 14th. Of course, the deadline is today, so time to chop because it's today, but you can still do it. So there's the link if you do want to nominate a fellow instructor or coordinator. You can still do that. Our next Lunch and Learn or Wellness Wednesday is going to be January 17th, 12 to 1:30. Feel free to jot that on your calendar. And actually, we're going to be having we're going to do QPR training led by Keith Klein, our very own, and Stacy Ray, who are QPR trainers. So that again is going to be the intended audience typically is the folks that we train as first aiders. And we always invite, it's a way to engage those people that we train. And it's always, of course, open to our instructors as well. And we want our instructors to be there also. But this is a great opportunity. If you're not QPR trained, it's a great opportunity. Typically, these are an hour long. They're going to be an hour and a half because it's QPR. We need that extra bit of time. So great way to get that training in for yourself also. Our next, the next instructor gathering is going to be held Wednesday, February 21st. And I went ahead and put the additional dates on here, the remaining 3 dates for the remainder of 2024 also. If you want to jot those down on your calendar, of course, these are subject to change, but this should be roughly what they are going to be. On Wednesdays from 12 to 1:30, recordings will always be available. But this way you do have that tentatively, you can mark those dates down. As I mentioned, the National Summit is in St. Louis, April 14th, which is a Sunday, and then the remainder of the National Summit will be for the next couple of days, but the Mental Health First Aid Summit is on that Sunday. So great opportunity. You can still register, registration is open for that. I know several of us will be attending that and even presenting. So we just got word from that yesterday. So a couple of our proposals were accepted. So excited about that. Our annual summit, as we do for the Ohio and Kentucky Art Collaborative Summit, that's held in Columbus. If you want to save the date, going to be easy to remember. It's Friday the 13th. We debated making the theme something around that, something haunted. Not sure yet if we're going to do that, but nonetheless, it'll be easy to remember. So Friday the 13th, still in September at the Columbus Zoo. Again, it's a wonderful venue to hold a summit. But you can save the date, September 13th, from 10 to 3 again, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Any questions on any of these dates or any that you would add? Anybody? All right, moving right along then. All right, Keith, I'll turn it over to you. If you want to give us some the highlight reel on the teen program.
Yeah, great. Thanks. I'm actually coming to you from Loveland High School. Today is our last day of instruction for the sophomores here. This fall, we've been both here at Loveland working with our sophomores and at Mount Healthy High School, kind of in the center north part of Cincinnati, working with their sophomores and juniors. The Mount Healthy kids will finish up on December 7th. Quite honestly, the project it has been a heavy lift, but it's been so worth the time and the effort. We will have by December 7th, we will have trained 755 teenagers in teen mental health first aid. Which I think in a first run at it is a pretty significant number, just dividing it up between the two schools. The grant that we've got from the Hamilton County Commission, we wrote this in to the grant when it was submitted, but we need to train 1,800 kids. And so we're working right now. We know we're going to do the Mount Healthy seniors when we return in January. And we're actually, and this is the one I'm really excited about, we are going to partner with Great Oaks, which is the large career technical center, actually one of the biggest career tech centers in the country, to do teen mental health first aid with them starting after the first of the year as well. And so we'll do 2 of their campuses in the spring and 2 of their campuses in the fall. If we just do what we've got commitments for this spring, we will have met and gone over just a little bit our 1,800 student goal for the grant. And the Oaks knows already that some of their campuses will probably have to bring this course to their campus for a fee. And so they are not Hamilton County schools. And so they'll be paying us to do that training for them. We also are branching out into communities. Right now, we're working with the Hamilton County Mental Health and Recovery Board. They are planning training in February, March. as is the Kenton County Library in Northern Kentucky. Both of those are being supported by a grant focused on LGBTQ youth. And so they're recruiting from a variety of different communities in greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, really pushing that out there for young folks who are identify in one of those groups or are interested in supporting those groups. And so that we're real excited about as well. We've got 6 trained instructors. All but one of them at this point is active and providing training on a regular basis. And we have 1 instructor slot left. We are, as part of the Hamilton County grant, able to train a 7th instructor. At this point, it really needs to be that person needs to be located in Southwest Ohio, because that's where our grant opportunities are. And where our schools are right now. And so if anybody's interested in that, or you know of somebody who might be interested in that, please have them put in an application to become an instructor. We're reviewing those now. Want to get somebody on board after the first of the year. So really, things have gone swimmingly well. It's hard to believe that we're at Thanksgiving. Well, I know we're all kind of struggling with the fact that it's almost Thanksgiving, right? But we're bringing that first round to a close, and real pleased that we're going to be able to have by April about 1,800 kids in greater Cincinnati trained in teen mental health first aid. That's, I think, is going to be a big difference maker for us if we can continue that trend and spread it beyond Hamilton County and get into some other areas. So that is my update around the teen program. Things are great. We're excited about the wrapping up the first session, and we're going to jump in head first in January to get the next batch of folks through the program.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Keith. Can you talk a little bit, just very quickly, about the Learn
Sure.
sessions too? The Learn sessions, the little flyer that I have up on the
Yeah.
screen.
Oh, absolutely. And yep. And thank you for doing those. We, because we've been getting so many, thank you, Bridget.
Yeah.
We've been getting so many requests about information around the teen program, how it works, what the curriculum looks like, because it is different than the adult and the youth programs. We've kind of designated 1 day a month to do Learn sessions. And so myself and Lisa Carter, who's helping to coordinate all of this, Janet, are on this call the second Tuesday of each month from 12:30 to 1:15, about 45 minutes. People can sign up and register for that if they want more information about the program. And then we can start either working with them in a coordinating role through the collaborative, or sending them how to contact folks if they want to do it independently and do it on their own. So Janet's doing a great job with applying for grants to support all of the initiatives we're doing. But we're kind of trying, because of the volume, we're trying to channel folks, if they want more information from us about the work that we're doing right now around teen, to sign up for one of those Learn sessions that's going on every month. And that's just an easier way for us to manage it instead of all these one-off phone conversations. So I'd encourage you to share that link and have people, if they're interested to find out more, have them participate in one of those Learn sessions.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, because I think so often the question does come up, hey, what about teen? So this is a great way to kind of, it allows, us as instructors then to give them a response, at least, other than just, I don't know, it's all in Hamilton County. I don't know. Well, here, at least there's a response. Here's a QR code. Right. Here's a link. At least here's a next step. Then we can share with people that are interested, because I know it definitely comes up often that, for me, I hear it a lot. So thank you.
And again, we're actively looking for one more instructor. So if you're Southwest Ohio and you know of somebody or you're interested, reach out. We want to try to get that person trained as quickly as we can, so we can have them in front of students early in the year.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So moving on then, just to kind of recap our summit. Certainly for those of you that were there, it was great seeing everybody. If you didn't have the opportunity to attend, just to kind of give you the highlight reel of that. For our second year in a row, it was held at the Columbus Zoo, and the space is actually overlooking the African safari. So we actually do watch giraffes and zebras during the session. So half of the audience actually watches the speaker, the other half is actually watching the animals. So, you know, kind of depends on how interesting the speaker is truly, but we're all really watching, right? But so this was got a good snapshot of the attendees, because we do have not only the instructors, but also first aiders, which is kind of a nice mix in those people who are stakeholders, those people who have been hosts, those people who just have an interest in learning more about mental health first aid. So that's kind of it's a nice opportunity to have that mix. This year we had Tremaine was I don't know, what do you call it? They're virtually with us, giving us updates from National Council, which was great to kind of give us updates about what's new with mental health first aid, where are things going, which is always nice to hear that straight from them. Give us an opportunity to have some Q&A with National Council directly, which is always beneficial. So if you didn't get a chance to come, I do encourage you to hold on to that date for next year, because it is a great opportunity to learn and to hear what's going on, and to just network and to connect with other people that share that passion and that interest. We did highlight some of the award members, those award recipients, if you will. Of course, we had Youth Instructor of the Year went to Jay Hayes. Big congratulations to Jay. Adult Instructor of the Year went to Amanda Hampton. Congratulations. New Instructor of the Year went to Terry Kinsway. Congratulations. Advocate of the Year was Autumn Rule. I'm not sure. Rule. Sorry if I mispronounced that, Autumn. Host Organization of the Year went to the Ohio Athletic Trainers Association, which was accepted on behalf of Ruth Russell, who had collaborated on many of those trainings. So again, big congratulations to them. We also knew for this year, recognized many of the instructors who had trained a significant number, I guess, milestone number of first aiders also. So those instructors who had trained 500 or more individuals, 1,000 individuals or more, and 2,000 individuals or more. So those instructors were recognized as well. So that was a nice moment. Of course, Keith and Lisa shared information with everybody on the teen program. Sabrina Scott walked us through some self-care resources and learning opportunities that Kathy Oberlin had developed as well, with great resources for us, not only for ourselves, but also to share with others, which was great. And of course, not a shortage of wonderful food. Of course, I share all that because we want to keep looking ahead then what we can do moving forward. I do want to point out that something that's going to be a little different for next year, because we do send out those surveys after the summit and ask for your feedback. And some of the feedback that we've received, some of the things we've talked about as well as a project team is, what do we want to do to, what are some things that we can do to help improve and continue to see it grow. And one of the suggestions that has come up is maybe some more opportunities for instructors to have breakout sessions and more instructor-focused educational sessions. So we're doing that. So we actually have a speaker lined up as it is. So for some more instructor-specific focus, if you will. So that being said, what is on your wish list? What is on your wish list for a summit? What would make this upcoming year, the 2024 summit, really beneficial for you as an instructor? What would you say? You guys can put it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and share, and I'll take some notes. What would an ideal summit look like for you as an instructor? What kinds of topics? What types of you can even throw food down there too. We've had tacos and we've done barbecue. Food's always important, but topics as well, learning topics or different things. What would you say? What would you want to know or have happen at a summit for instructors? Anybody?
One thing I think we talked about, especially as the number of folks that attend continues to grow, is to maybe have some opportunities for more choice in the day.
Mhm,
Maybe there's some simultaneous courses or sessions that folks could pick A, B, or C to
mhm,
attend something that's of high interest to them.
mhm,
We talked before about the numbers getting to the point where we're not sure if this room is going to be big enough.
mhm.
But I think that gives us an opportunity maybe to add some more sessions and give folks additional choice around what it is that they want to attend. What's a priority for them?
Yeah,
We got the whole building this upcoming year, so we're well prepared for a bigger group.
yeah. And this is something, again, you certainly don't have to have an answer today. But if you do, start thinking about it. Oh, yeah, looks like we got some in the chat. So start thinking about it though. What is on your wish list? I mean, this instructor gathering really is intended to be for you as an instructor. So think of, I mean, obviously we do open it up to the first aiders, but we want to hone in a bit more and make it a little more specific to customize it a bit more for instructors. So kind of start thinking about that, those different topics you might want to see, different speakers, different things we can do to help. Maybe it's about, classroom management style or teaching style, whatever. Maybe we want to do some return demonstrations and get constructive criticism, or constructive feedback on teaching different sections, or let's practice the hallucination script or whatever, walk through that exercise together, some different ideas. So things like that to think about. All right, but yeah, we'll definitely kind of keep thinking about that, and we will keep exploring that. Just send me via email your wish list, and I will keep collecting those. Thank you for those. All right. So I want to shift then and start talking about the Youth 2.1. How many of you have delivered the Youth 2.1 since it has come out? Okay, so a couple of folks have. What's been the good, the bad, the ugly? What's your thoughts on it so far? For those of you that have delivered it, what are your thoughts?
The misnumbered slides are a pain in the butt.
Yeah, we love it. We love the slides matching up, right? Yeah. Anybody have any luck with the video situation?
I use the Word document that Stacy sent, and he set it up so nicely. All I had to do was click one and it was back to back to back. So Stacy did a lot of great work in getting it easier for us
Yeah,
to use those videos. Worked perfectly.
yeah. So
Well, I would like to receive that video then. I mean that version, because my last class it didn't happen that way. My first video did not work. The other ones they were okay. But I think that the last one I actually had somewhere else, and I just kind of prompted and queued it to come in. But yeah, they're not just working all the time.
Yeah, it's a little clunky. Kind of trying to figure out the video situation. So we got a couple tips here to help out. And as Janet mentioned, yes, Stacy was wonderful to merge together those videos in basically any combination you could possibly come up with, which is incredible. Because when I did the class, actually I did the class with Stacy, and I was literally going back and forth. I mean, I looked very uncrisp, to say the least. So he has for part 1, here's all the combinations. Part 2, all the combinations. Part 3, all the combinations. So if you want to plug them in, you're good to go. They're right here. They're on the Trello board. Thank you, Stacy, 1,000 times over for doing this. This is amazing. So again, there's a great resource for you. Another one that I did, this is one that's on here. Again, this is on the Trello board. I made a new column called curriculums, and we're going to touch on it a bit more as well when we talk about the community specific ones for blended. I put key terms, and this is just like I'm a very, I guess, concrete, basic thinking person. I need to know really quickly when I'm thinking about my audiences, who's the best video for that audience? I need key terms. Okay, here's key terms about Arna, Aja, Colby, Kelsey, Dorothy, Novak. When I'm thinking about who would be the best video for that audience, because 2.1 says pull together your best people for your best, for your audience. Here's key terms for these people. Cool. Here's some key terms. Pick the ones that match up the best. Roll with it. Then Stacy's already got them all pulled together. So again, this is on here now for 2.1. There is also, here's a timing guide, which is great. Thank you, Stacy. Amazing resource to have for the 2.1. So this is on here. I will say, I did put my break after the A and the L, but whatever works for you. But this is definitely, we got our breaks kind of figured in here, which is nice for the 2.1. Anytime all this stuff is done, it's always very helpful to have that. There is also I have the slide deck with the corrected page numbers for the BBG. I also have the slide deck with the self-care guide and the spot for the scenarios and videos in it. If you want it, let me know. I'll be happy to share it with you. We now have something called Dropbox, which is a way that I can share PowerPoint presentations with people. In the past, I haven't been able to because they're too large, and I'm not tech savvy enough to figure that kind of stuff out, but we have it now. So I can share that PowerPoint presentation with you. Just email me and let me know, and I'd be happy to do it. I'm not gonna put it on the Trello board, but I would be happy to share it with you if you reach out and let me know. So any questions on that piece or any other thoughts on Youth 2.1? Suggestions, questions, mysteries that remain? You know what? And if you can email me, just so I don't miss anything in the, Terry, I got yours, but if you can email me, because I cannot promise I will catch everything in chat. I don't want to lie and say I'm going to catch it. All right, so let me go back then. Yeah, thank you, Stacy. That was so incredibly helpful. What all you had on there. All right, so our next resource then that we have, again, the link for that is all here. It's in this slide deck too, so it'll get you back to the Trello board where you can find that. So next quandary we find ourselves in is the community specific curriculums. So those are great. We're very happy to have those, but they're for full in-person classes. So we've been kind of throwing around, what do we do with these? These are great. There's a lot of great information in them. Meaning there's audience specific information. There's great videos, there's great scenarios. What do we do with these then? How do we still utilize these in a blended form? If it's best for the audience to do blended, and still stick with fidelity of a program. So here's what we've kind of come up with, kind of that happy medium, still working within all of those constraints, and those same goals in mind. This is an optional idea. You don't have to do it. It's what you as an instructor feel comfortable with. If a course, and again, be mindful when you go to accept a course in the scheduling board, if it says this is a blended, let's say public safety course, and it's meant to be, they want public safety curriculum. When you as the instructor are accepting that course, if you see it's 9 to 5:30 and it says they want the public safety curriculum, you need to understand, be mindful that what you're accepting is that you're going to deliver the public safety curriculum in a blended format. If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. Don't accept the course. I guess is kind of the message here. Again, that's perfectly okay. If you want to do that, here's kind of the process, what that could look like. The coordinator is going to enter the course into Connect as a blended adult mental health first aid course from 9 to 3:30, just a standard adult class. Instructors then, again, that choose to do this, have to already be, they must be certified, both instructors. If there's a lead and a co, they both must be certified to deliver that specific course in full in person, because that's the only way they're both going to have access to the videos and to the curriculums, right? We're not trying to cheat National out of any of their additional $50. I mean, we're not trying to be devious here. We're not doing anything to try to take away from them in any way. So we're saying both instructors need to be certified. So that's the first thing. Then the instructors can go to the Trello board, to the know before they go handouts, which I'm going to show you in just a second. Use that information to customize their presentation again, and that's really what we're charged with, which is to know before we go, to make sure that what you deliver to your audience meets their need. And then if you need additional support with, let's say, a PowerPoint presentation, reach out to me. I may or may not have the PowerPoint slides available that I can share with you. Again, reach out to me, that have page numbers adjusted accordingly. But those are not posted on the Trello board. So let me show you, let me just share with you on the Trello board then where you can find these, what this looks like. All right. So we're back on the Trello board. Again, there's this new column, and I'll scroll over just so you can see where I'm getting this at. Our Trello board is growing by the day, isn't it? So you scroll over. Now we have a little typewriter here. So we've got marketing, links, get help. Now we have curriculum. Again, these are specific curriculums. Know before you go. So this is where that Youth 2.1 information was. So here's our standard operating procedure. So this is what I just read to you. This is kind of the steps that we're going to follow, that we follow. But let's say you're going to do a blended corrections curriculum. So this is what a know before you go form looks like. So you would click on it. And basically what I've done is I've taken all the information in the teaching notes where they talk about information about culture, prevalence, barriers, risk factors, trauma, protective factors. And I've said, consider incorporating that information. Those are all the facts from the teaching notes from the full in-person. Incorporate that verbally into your presentation where it's appropriate. One swap of slides, which is the how does this fit into your community, and swap out that slide of framing the conversation. That's like a pretty obvious swap out. And then consider basically using the first section of the regular with the last, use the regular adult first part, and then the 6 through 10, algae through everything else, crisis from the community specific deck. And then again, consider using the audience specific scenarios and videos from that community specific one. Again, I have adjusted the page numbers, and I do have those PowerPoint slides adjusted accordingly, but I'm not posting them. If you come across a class that you have to present to, reach out to me and I'd be happy to help you. Here's the links for the scenarios and videos, but these links do not work if you don't already have access to those. If you're not certified to teach those, you can't access them. They're not going to work for you. So what questions do you have about this process? Because I think, it's just kind of an idea of a way to, again, customize to the audience, meet the audience's need, and still stick within the fidelity of the program. Yeah, and we did, yeah, absolutely. We did, how are the students doing the blended portion? So Pat, great question. So what we're doing is and I don't think I answered this. So two things. The coordinator is still putting in the class as a blended class. So they're still doing the pre-work for just a generic adult class, right? So their pre-work is all still just adult generic. The PPG that you're going to print out, that you're going to send to them in the link, is still the generic adult. Okay, don't modify that. That gets way too complicated for us and for them. So everything that they see is generic adult. We're just delivering, we're going to deliver a little bit more customized. So Pat, they're going to still do the blended part that's generic adult, basically, because we're not doing it as, as anything else other than that. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, and we asked Tyria at the summit, hey, when are these coming? And they're coming, but boy, they're coming, right? When the time comes, they'll come, but they're not there yet. So, again, we're using what they've got. We're not creating anything new. We're just trying to use what they've got. And we're saying, you got to be certified in this stuff. So we're not taking anything from anybody. Any other questions though?
I just want to jump in and comment that this is so helpful when we're talking to hosts and they want the specialized curriculum, which many of them do, which makes a lot of sense. And when we say, okay, it's an 8.5 hour day, they're like, well, that's too long. So this is going to be so helpful for those hosts that want that curriculum, but can't spend all day. And, we can pare it down to a 6.5 hour day. So thank you for doing this. This is awesome. And all of our hosts will be very, very happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're not all completed yet. I mean, we are working on them. Stacy and I are kind of chiseling away at these. They're there because they do take an extensive amount of time. And then I got them, I got mine done. And then October 31st, I just saw, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but the adult blended has been updated. And the page numbers are off. Again, they're off by some of them are off by 2 and then not. As you get closer to the section, so the end of section 6, now all of a sudden they're off by 3 and then they get off by 1 again. I'm not kidding you. I about fell out of my chair earlier this week trying to adjust these again. So I've actually hyphenated. I haven't even decided what I'm doing yet, truly, but I don't know. So, more to come, but there is now a 2023 version, if you will, of this stuff. So we'll keep working on it together. We'll keep working. So any other questions? No. All right. All right. Well, moving right along then. Let me go ahead and get the... You know what? I am not seeing a button for that. Yeah, Pat, I do think that they probably know how difficult it is to keep updated. It is challenging. Absolutely. All right. So now this comes to the exciting part of our day. We are very, very excited to finally have our updated resource list. And I'm going to share with you 2 things. One is the resource list as you know it currently has been updated. And that is this form. And this is on the Trello board where it has always been, but it looks different now. Now it is a clickable form. So you're going to click on it and you can click on this very first page and it will send you to the corresponding audience specific resource that all has links with pictures. It's beautiful. It's lovely. And what's great about this, the new resource page, is I went into all of the community specific curriculums and made sure that all of the resources that National said we were supposed to be sharing with our learners are all in there now. So everything for first responders, everything for military, everything for fire EMS are all included now. So again, we don't have to go through, you can make sure that if you're doing the community specific ones are all in there. But what's even better is I'm gonna let Stacy talk about the really new and exciting thing that he has been working on so diligently.
Well, basically, we now have an app, which is basically an app version of the resource guide that we can let our class participants put on their smartphones at the end of we're in our classes. And it has all the same resources as the resource guide that we've been giving our participants. So now they'll have it right on their phones when they engage somebody in mental health first aid. And that includes the clickable links going straight to the websites, or where they press a button and it connects them right to dialing the phone number to a hotline. So, and we're able to actually see how many people download the app. And so that's exciting to see that we can track that. And we have it where anybody that's using the app can also click a link and share with us resources they know, so that we can be updating the app and adding more resources. It's very basic, but also very user friendly in the sense that we've got it segmented just like the regular resource guide by categories. So it's very easy to navigate. And our goal is to update both of these every year. And then again, encourage everybody to update the app. The goal is like every November this time of year as well.
Yeah, so please do, if just while you're sitting here right now, open up your phone, scan this QR code, and take a look at this app. It is amazing. It truly is user friendly, and we really do want you as the instructor at the end of your class, put this up on the screen and have all the learners download this, or upload, download, I don't know, whatever people call it, scan the QR code, I have no idea, scan the QR code onto their phone, so that they have it. Again, this is going to be a wonderful takeaway for people from the course, so that they really will have this now with them when they leave the course. This is also on the Trello board now under the resource tab, so it will be there, but this is what we're going to start using now, in place of the old. So the old is out. This is a new resource list. So please do take a look at it. And again, there's just like Stacy said, there's a tab now on here to upload new resources. So if there's a resource that's not on here that you want to see added, go ahead and add it. And then as we update this, we'll have the information then. Again, it'll be a good way for us to capture that, so this stuff doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Great, thank you, Stacy, so much. Any questions on that? On how we're doing this?
Bridget, I got a question.
Yeah.
Are we going to put this QR code on the PowerPoint slide on the instructor support board so the instructors can grab it and add it to their PowerPoint?
It's there. Yep, I added it right before the meeting. Yep. And Carrie, the links from the Ohio State MHFA page, yes, it's on there. Yeah. So I think, Carrie, that's the one that has the OSU like adult resources. Is that the one you're talking about? Yep, that's the one. Yeah, we got it. So if you look under professional resources, that's where you'll find it. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And then the youth one is the Oberlin Consulting, or Oberlin Mapping is the one for the youth. So that's all still on there also. Yeah. So definitely take a look at it. There's some amazing resources on there. Some are familiar, some are new, but definitely a great resource out there. So thank you again, Stacy, for all your hard work on that. All right.
It was a team effort because the whole team had to go through and navigate all of it to make sure it all worked.
There's a lot of links to link and check, right? All right. So our next exciting reveal is the abbreviated PPG. So here's a fun story. So sometimes when you go to trainings, people don't bring their PPG, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Try as we may, we ask them to print them out, or we try everything, don't we? So we're trying to compromise here. how do we still make sure that the learners are getting the information that they need, and us not having to print everything out? So a little compromise is, what if we come up with a shortened version and ask the host to print them out? And we have gone back and forth on this many, many times, as you guys know. And where we've landed is starting in December, and we're piloting this, that we're going to ask the host, the coordinators are going to ask the host to print out this 2-page document, which is an abbreviated PPG in black and white, back to back, so it'll only be 2 pages for them to print out as a PPG for each learner. There is an adult and a youth version, because of course some of the exercises are different, but this is basically it. It's got helpful and unhelpful exercises, hallucination script, the signs and symptoms, self-care, and then a blank sheet for notes. And this captures, I mean, this is like bare bones essential, whether you're doing blended in person or full in person. This really is, you know, about as bare bones as you can get, and still capture everything, you know, that one might need for a PPG. So again, we're going to trial this out. It does have on the bottom then that QR code for resources. You can't see it in my screenshots here, but they are on there, as well as the link, the QR code for our website. That's on here as well. You're free though, as an instructor, to print these out also. They are, again, they're on the Trello board, under PPG, alphabetically under instructor resources. So any questions on these? Comments? Concerns? Nope. All right. Moving right along. All right, so now we're moving into the miscellaneous things. We just have a little hodgepodge of little miscellaneous things. The way that we're sending out the link requests for the debriefs are a little bit different this project. In the past, I sent you a separate debrief request email. Now they're embedded in the email from the coordinator. So when you finish a class, the coordinator sends you an email and the host. It says, hey, thanks for delivering such an amazing class. The link to the debriefing form goes not only to you as well as now to the host. So it's possible some folks may not have seen that. I know that the numbers, I've seen less debriefing forms coming in. In fact, in the month of September, we only had about 3 debriefing forms coming in. So I'm wondering if maybe because they're coming from a different place, that might have been what we were seeing. Because we did change that process up. Just so you know, that's where they're coming from now. The link for those debriefing forms, though, is also in the Trello board, just so you know, under instructor resources. If you ever don't see one after a class from your coordinator, that's where you can find it. They are really helpful and important for me, as well as the rest of the project team, to know, you know, what are the areas that we can do to help to support you in those classes. Are there process issues going on? You know, I can help and support the process and figure out what's going on, etc. We are going to, because we know it is an extra step for you as an instructor that are already doing a lot of steps. We do want to offer some support for that extra work. So starting now, we are going to be tracking those, and then at our February instructor gathering, we're going to spin the wheel, kind of like the little digital wheel here that we have on here, and we'll pick somebody to get $50 from those debriefing forms. So everybody who filled out their debriefing forms from now until our February instructor gathering is going to get a $50 gift card. So we'll spin the wheel and somebody will get that. So again, just don't forget to do those debriefing forms. Any questions on those and what we're doing there? Nope. All right. And again, I think I put that. I thought I put where to put. Well, you know what? I think we may see that later on, but we'll come back to that. That's all right. Another little thing I want to share is don't forget when you're beginning your class, you can see in the beginning or the end, wherever you want to, but don't forget to give your thank yous and acknowledgements for the class. It can sound something like, hey, today's class is valued at $170 per person, and it's being provided you at no cost through a grant from the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, OHMHAS, and the MHFA Collaborative. Something that sounds similar to that, something thereof. We just want to make sure that the funders are getting their accolades for the day. And their gratitude. Obviously, you know, there are times when there are folks from different organizations that do show up in the classes, and we just want to make sure that if they do happen to be there, that they are hearing that. Those thank yous. They always like that kind of stuff. So, all right, any questions? Yeah, I know, Carrie, but hang tight, because we do have a wheel we will be spinning today. Don't give up hope yet. All right. So here's a fun little thing that Stacy and I discovered last week when we were doing a class. It had seemed that Zoom got rid of the co-host function. And it really wasn't that they got rid of it, it's that somehow it got turned off. So just a little discovery. If you found that you no longer have the co-host function in Zoom, and you have, because I think they did, I don't know, a couple months ago, it does seem like they changed the settings on that automatically. If you go to settings and you go to where it says in meetings basic, go to your account, go to settings, in meeting basic, and then over here, there's a little co-host toggle, click that back on. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it defaulted to off. Anyways, you can turn that back on, because Stacy and I had kind of a fun little event. Actually, I'll share this with you guys. Somebody came on our class last week. They were throwing around some expletives. I don't believe they were aware. Stacy was showing the video. He was host. They were throwing around some expletives. I'm not so sure they knew that they were on video. I couldn't mute them. Stacy couldn't mute because he was showing the video as host. We were both kind of scurrying. The audience was getting quite the chuckle out of it. So finally, we just had to sort of like say, "Yeah, we got to stop here for a second." So it's kind of an amusing moment. But what are you gonna do? It was a good reminder, I guess. So turns out we need that co-host function back. Anybody else notice that co-host was gone? Or is that maybe just me? Yeah, ouch. Yeah, it was a little awkward. All right. So here's another little discovery that was also uncovered. Make sure when you are copying and pasting your email templates that you download this document that you get off the Trello board, download it onto your computer first before copying and pasting. If you just copy and paste it from here, from the Trello board, you're going to lose all the links. Where this becomes really important is that day after email. And because you're going to lose the link to Facebook, you're going to lose the link to our website, all those valuable follow-up links are going to be off of there. Again, just make sure, and Janet was kind enough to put in highlights, please download this document to keep the original formatting and hyperlinks. Again, this is how you lose all that formatting. If you notice that everything comes out in Times New Roman in a big smash box, it's because you didn't download it first. So make sure you download it and then copy and paste. Download it onto your own computer and then copy and paste. That's just a little tip. Learned the hard way. So any questions on that? Ready? All right. All right, so a few scheduling tips. So we are just sort of all over the place, but lots of good information coming along the way here. So little reminder on well, first let me ask, anything come up recently on the scheduling board? How has the scheduling board been going for everybody? Good, bad, Jeremy?
Yeah, hi, I have to leave. I'm typing a thing in the chat. I have a 1 o'clock, so I'm still going to finish that.
Yeah.
With the scheduling thing, one of the biggest things is I think that the bids are open for too long. Like there's stuff that's open for January that is not scheduled to close until like mid-December. So I need to know before that if I need to make sure that I'm keeping that day open or not. So I don't think that it should be open that long. We should have we should just bid. We should know if we're gonna go for it or not. Like,
Mhm.
if it's posted, then it should be open for 3 weeks, and you're either in or you're not.
Yeah.
I think because I think that puts us at a bit of a disadvantage. That's my biggest feedback on that. Otherwise, I think
Yeah.
that I don't really know of another suggestion to make the board process work better.
Yeah.
It's Trello. It is what it is.
Yeah. No, I do.
That's the biggest issue that I see.
Jeremy, can I ask a question?
Of course.
So one of the things we run into is we don't really decide for sure that class is going to take place until 3 weeks. So would it be better to go ahead and assign instructors, even though we may have to cancel it?
Yep. I think
Okay.
so. Personally, I'd rather have it and hold that day off and take the risk of having it canceled than not.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
So, okay. Thanks. I gotta roll.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think I think there's been some back and forth with that. What is the right way? And I guess kind of going to what I was gonna share here, and the coordinators, you guys can chime in on this. Am I correct in saying that the deadline to bid that I have highlighted here that says like November 17th for this example, do you make a decision then 3 days after this date? Is it announced 3 days after this date?
Roughly.
Roughly? Okay, so if we as instructors hone in on this date, then it should be 3 days after that date is when the decision is made and when instructors are notified. Right? Okay, but again, maybe we need to kind of, maybe this is kind of still up for fine tuning if we're gonna reevaluate this then. Okay. I will say, do know that if you have put your name on this section down here, if you've put your name here under activity, please know that you don't have to go back and reach out to the coordinators via email separately. Your name is already on here. It's there. So they do know. I will say though, I've been telling a lot of the new instructors to sell yourself on here. There's a lot of factors that go into the decision for coordinators to decide who is the best fit for that class. Put as much information as possible about yourself and why you would be the best instructor for that class. Put that information because that's going to help the coordinators in that decision-making process. In that line, however much information, I live geographically, I live close to this is, population that I'm a part of, or, whatever it might be. Put that information in that line here when you write beside your name. Any of that information is helpful, but it does sound like we need to keep exploring that a little bit for, this process, which is good to know. It's good to get that feedback. So anybody else or any of the coordinators want to add anything to this? Okay. All right. All right. Stacy also added an additional document to the Trello board that I want to draw your attention to, and that's a tracking form for yourself, basically. Again, it's under instructor resources, and it is alphabetical, so just tracking. It's for you as an instructor, if you want to keep track of the classes you've taught, the format, the type, who the host was, number of participants, amount paid, whether you were lead or co, and the name of your other instructor. This comes in handy because sometimes National Council is a little hard to track, your records. Because let's say you want to reach back out to National Council and say, I know I taught that class. If let's say a year later, you want to find out how many classes did I teach? How many classes have I taught? How many learners have I taught? This may be a useful tool for you because you may find that retrieving records is complicated and not always so user friendly. So again, he was kind enough to create this form. So this might be something you might want to consider accessing. So thank you, Stacy, for doing that. Any questions on this? And you don't have to use it, but that's a tool that's out there. All right. So I do want to take a moment. There was an article that was shared I put on the Trello board a couple days ago. This was an article, if you didn't get a chance to read it, it's okay, but it was a study that looked at 155 individuals that had taken mental health first aid in New York City from the years 2016 to 2020. And it asked them a variety of questions. And again, those are all listed in that study. But it asked some, and there were some interesting findings as a result of that study, and a couple things that were brought to light that I just want to highlight and just kind of talk about today. One of them, this first one, is 1 in 5 respondents that had taken the class expressed little to no confidence in assisting someone with a mental health problem, even after having completed the training. I think that's kind of interesting. Only, 1 in 5 said they had little to no confidence even after taking the training. What are your thoughts on that? What are the implications of that for us as instructors? What do you think? Are you surprised by that? Do you think it would be true in the state of Ohio as well?
I think that it can be like drinking from a fire hose for them because of how much time is spent in a concentrated fashion,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe they have a hard time retaining it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I experienced that a bit myself. If I had not been going back to it over and over, I think
Yeah.
that continued engagement, if they're not doing the continued engagement to practice what they've learned, that's going to be an issue too.
Yeah. Yeah. And Casey, you kind of read it kind of differently then. 4 out of 5 had more confidence.
Yeah, so sorry to come off mute for a second. Yeah, I think that's hard that there's the 1 out of 5 who had little to no, but also it's kind of a 101.
Mm-hmm.
Some folks I talked to told me in the last few months that even having a 201 of mental health first aid might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But I see the other side of it, that means 4 out of 5 had at least more confidence. I'm not sure how high, but higher than little to no. So
yeah. Pat, you pointed out it's hard to believe the 1 in 5. Is there not enough time to practice the skills? There's so much content. Pat, I kind of think that was my kind of initial thought after when I saw that is, are we making sure that we're preserving that time to practice the skills? And I think, the very little amount of time that we do have to practice the skills is the scenarios. And I think about, when I have to navigate that challenge of time management in this class, which is a huge challenge. Where do I trim? Where do I focus? And I think this is a reminder for me, I guess, that those scenarios, that practice time with the scenarios probably needs to be that really high priority, because practice is where probably that confidence is, it's not probably, that's where their confidence is going to be grown. Just a good reminder. That was my takeaway anyways. But it's interesting, interesting information. Again, there's some other findings in there. I don't want to spend too much time, but again, there's some interesting findings from that study. I do invite you to take a look at that. I just want to make sure we have plenty of time for Q&A also, but do take a look at that study. I think there's some interesting information in there, interesting findings. Oh, this is what is also on the debriefing form. The debriefing form. If you haven't seen a debriefing form in a while, it has changed. It now takes you away to this beautiful tropical island, which is very nice. And the very last part of it is invite you to upload a picture from your class. We're inviting you to take a quick picture of your group at the end. A lot of people use the congratulations screen in the background from an in-person class. Usually somebody gets to hold the algae koala in the center, or you don't have to. But anybody who wants to participate in the picture, it's usually a nice thing. Stacy then uploads those. Usually he can tag the host audience site, and they like to do that too. They can put it on their social media page. It's great publicity for them, great marketing for us as well. But all you have to do then at the end of your class, when you're doing your debriefing form, is just upload that onto your up to your form right here. I'm sure Stacy would probably also take it if you're not tech savvy. I'm sure he would take it at his email also. Stacy, I'm just throwing that in there just in case for people like myself, maybe if it's easier that way. So thank you for nodding and affirming that. I appreciate that. Any questions on that? All right. So we do want to, Janet, I think you're up for this one. These are our Bravos. So as we talked about at the last instructor gathering, we wanted to make sure that we are giving some Bravos to fellow instructors and making sure that everybody has an opportunity to congratulate and cheer on one another. So we've been doing this and collecting those on the Trello board under the Bravo column. There's now a new one that you'll be adding here now where this new arrow is for November, December, and January. We'll spin the wheel again in February. But Janet, if you want to spin the wheel for this month, I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
I think you need to give me a screen sharing capabilities.
Let me make you host.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. There we go.
All right, so when I spin it, there's little sound effects. But when you guys hear it, I don't think you can hear it. So can everybody see the big wheel?
I do.
Let me try again. How about now?
We see it.
Okay. So this is everybody's name that came from the Trello cards, and I'm just going to spin the wheel. And if you win, if we have 3 people that win at the same time, I don't know what we're going to do. But if whoever wins, you can have an option of getting a free supplement of your choice or a $50 gift card from Amazon. So can you guys hear that?
No.
It's really cute.
We can imagine it though.
Bridget, Pat, and Janet are the winners.
Well, I think Pat gets that one.
I think Pat gets that one too. Congratulations, Pat.
And I don't think Pat's here today.
No, I don't think she's here, but we'll let her know.
All right. Well, congratulations to Pat. So Pat got so bravo. So again, do make sure that you are putting those bravos in the Trello board for this upcoming month, and you will be in the running for the supplemental teaching curriculum or a $50 gift card if you already have the supplements. So big congratulations there. All right. So, and again, a big thank you to all of our instructors, and we're going to keep some time as well for questions and answers. I want to make sure there was enough time for that. But again, quick reminders, QPR for our next Lunch and Learn, which is January 17th. And I believe the link, Stacy, is on the Facebook page, I assume, correct? Is it also on our Trello board under news you can use?
Could be.
Perfect, thank you. And then the next instructor gathering will be February 21st from 12 to 1:30. That's wrong. It'll be 12 to 1:30. But a big thank you from your project team, and thank you to all of you again. And now we will open it up to any questions and answers. I think looks like we had some in the chat box. Ruth, I see your question here in the chat box. Did anybody respond to that one yet?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it was
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about the assignment for assigning trainings. And I just thought about it and I just wrote that it will be helpful if the coordinator CCs the instructor who did the referral for dates, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, they're doing well, but it's just a good reminder.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Other questions? Does anybody have any other questions? Things you want to add? Suggestions? Nope. All right, Janet, did you need to add anything? Or any of the other coordinators?
The only thing I thought about was I was thinking about that New York City, the first question you asked, Bridget, and they don't have our instructors. That's huge. Like we can't assume those New York people know how to teach this class like we do here in Ohio. So I was just wanting to brag on Ohio instructors and Kentucky instructors.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so as far as we know, I think as far as I know, we have at least two. We will be filling the seats of at least two speaking tables at the national conference. So we just found out yesterday. So that's kind of exciting. That's kind of nice to know, right? And share. Oh, Pat, you have a question?
Yeah. Has anybody done, and I don't know what they call it, where the students can, instead of doing the pre-work for it, this is a fully in-person class. And they have to go in, set up their profile, do the pre-evaluation and the opinions quiz, that they can come to class. They use their phone to connect and do it right then. Has anybody tried that format yet?
Well, so you're saying like it would be a blended course and they're doing their pre-work during that allotted time?
No, it's a fully in-person class. They are now giving us, and it just came out, I believe, last week or the week before, where you can do, the students can come in, they take a screenshot of the little icon and it ships them in to, I guess, Connect, where they can do that required stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I haven't done it yet, but I would imagine so long as you allot like an extra, 15 minutes in the class, I suppose they probably could, right? However long it would take.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know, is that are they having difficulties getting in and on a phone, trying to do all of that work,
Yeah. I mean, I'd be concerned, like you're saying, I guess, with connectivity, especially depending on the location. You just never know what it's going to be like.
Plus, for a fully in-person class, to add another 15 minutes, that's that much longer of a day for a long day anyway.
Agreed. I just wanted to know because some of our folks struggle, and I'm going to be doing that rural community class, and we're thinking about trying to have computers available so that they can come in early to do that.
Yeah.
They might struggle to try and do that at home by themselves.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Pat, I think it's a lot better than submit a course. It's 1,000 times. It would be well worth it. I'd rather come an hour early.
Yes, that submit a course was absolutely horrible when we had to do it during that downtime.
Yeah.
And we had to add all of that information by hand. Yikes.
Yeah. I think, I mean, especially if you're in a rural community, I mean, you're great chance you're going to face connectivity issues, right? But better to do it there than have to submit a course. I mean, even if it means, and maybe it's something, Pat, you could do, break it up in 2 half days then, rather than trying to do it all in one day, do a 2 half day, it's still full in person, but do it over 2 half days then to account for that extra time that it might take to do all the computer stuff, because at the end of the day you're going to have to do all the post work.
Correct.
So
Correct.
you're almost going to have to do it in 2 half days.
Yeah, we currently have it set for 2 half days.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
to help with that.
Yeah, that would help. Well, let us know how it goes if you do it.
I've used the hour lunch there for who people that needed the help. Then during lunch, that's the time, or during breaks, that's when I will help them, you know. And if I will run out of time, this is in the rural community. So if I don't see a time where I'm actually focused in helping, I just let them know, you know, I will help you after the class. Because it's simple. It's not a lot. So it says I will help you. And I've had it in breaks or after, and they completed it the whole course. Those are the times that I usually use to help.
Yeah. 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 Jeremy put a question in the chat box. Coordinators, when talking with potential clients, please don't forget that we have the ability to do split classes in the evenings and weekends. There are some of us who have jobs during the week that severely limit our ability to support projects when most of the classes are Monday through Friday. We want to help, we just don't have flexible jobs, and that often leaves us on the outside. Lots of organizations would probably want split opportunities in the evenings. Okay, discuss amongst yourselves. Jeremy put that in the chat box. Let me see. I don't think I see any other questions in the chat. Anybody else have any questions? No. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, you guys too. Bye-bye.